We are working out for the next 365 days in a row. So many of us struggle to make positive changes in their lives, and I tend to give up too. We can't stick to our goals. You see, we've done this challenge at least 10 times, reaching 200 plus days at least twice. I was hoping to get myself into breakdancing shape because I always wanted to breakdance. And failure was crushing. And sometimes when you fail a lot, you give up. And in my case, you give up on your dreams for good. I made excuses instead. But now, even if I give up, or I sleep in, or I stop, we're just going to start over again. We will become stronger. So what follows are my workouts and thoughts each day. Every day, we can decide to make good choices. So don't give up on yourself.
Hello, welcome to Workout Every Day, day number 22, and I weigh 198.4 pounds. What happened? What's going on? I was supposed to be 175, but guys, I love rice so much. So much. And I had to sit down with my girlfriend and be like, all right. What's going on with the diet? And I had to dial in and see what I'm doing. And I think it's literally just my addiction to rice that's making it a little bit more difficult. But then again, guys, that is not necessarily the biggest takeaway. The biggest takeaway is that weight fluctuates, right? I ate dinner, a pretty big dinner right before I went to sleep, and then weighed myself as soon as I woke up. But today is an important day, guys. It's an important day because we wanted to work on some calisthenics training, on some partial breakdancing skills, because at the end of the day, that is what will comprise most of my training the further and further we go down this journey. I'm really big on learning fundamental skills. So as you can see in this footage, you can see me just learning how to fall forward. Like I'll learn to fall to all sides. I'm like so cautious when it comes to training. So very basic stuff that seems maybe a little too easy to do. I'm not very good at it. I'm trying to be as soft and as light as I am, but really, when I fell to the mat, it sounds like a giant crashing noise. There is a part of this video where I fall in such a way where a gym member comes to check in on me. And mind you guys, this is like 4:30 at the morning. So if somebody's checking in on you at 4:30 at the morning, you're either doing something very wrong or very right. I don't know which one it is. But yeah, basically I have a small bend in my knees, and then I lean forward, and then I try and softly touch my hand to the ground, which is for an 198-pound man might not be the easiest thing to do. Now, on this day, I did deliberate doing handstand work, but I didn't end up doing it. I just said, you know what, let me just do a bunch of different rolls and do a little bit of wrist work as well. So I do a lot of back rolls to start. This is what I'm really comfortable with, going on both sides. Very important during any of the movements I'm going to show going on forward that you protect your neck, okay? So I keep my chin slightly tucked. I point it in the direction which I'm going to kick my legs over, and then I kick it over my head. And there's a few drills that you can do to get a bit better at your forward and back rolls as far as I've learned. Now, I know there's a lot of different techniques in the gymnastics, calisthenics sphere, and the way that people do things. This is just the way that I've learned. Okay, so there is no neck pain, so I feel like that might mean I know what I'm doing. Anyways, you'll see me going through this transition eventually. I just start sending the barrel roll. You know, I'm pretty okay with this movement, so I'm not scared of doing it anymore. I used to be very scared of trying to roll. It's oh yeah, you can see me in the background there. I'm like, ah, no, I'm okay. This dude literally like, dude, are you good? Because he saw me from the distance just dive into the ground. Oh, and there's the camera. If you don't want a full sender roll, you can start from bent knee and slowly roll forward. This is how I started preparing to get a bit better and more comfortable with forward rolling. And I do it in such a way where I'm rolling to one shoulder, one side, my left or my right. I'm really bad going to my right, so should do a lot more of those. And the easiest way for me to do it is start from bent knee or start from a squat and then just roll into it slowly. What would be super awesome is if I could chain together different rolls forward and back, but I was doing that in the beginning and I got dizzy, and also there isn't that much space, so I said, you know what? Let me just chillax on that for a bit. There I am. Yeah, I'm about to get real dizzy. I also think learning how to roll backwards is also important and getting better at it. Because eventually, when I'm doing handsprings forward and backwards, the ability to roll, recover, all these things, they link together into allowing me to be better at free movement. So I don't see anything wrong with that. So a movement you might know if you're in calisthenics or the breakdancing sphere, frog stands or frog pose, whatever you want to call it, okay? Basically, this movement here I have improved that drastically from when I started it, so now I have a drill that I do. And essentially what I do is I bring my hands forward and I try and drag my body forward inch by inch, just like this. And then I do the same thing forwards, and then I do it backwards, then I do it to the side. And really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get better at balancing and moving around on my wrists. Now, here's an example of me doing the forward and back roll. And the goal here is for me to get used to transitioning between both these positions. I just call it like flossing. So I hold that position and then I kick forward and then I kick in the other position and then I go back and forward. So this way I can practice coming up and down. You can also do the same thing from a forward roll. So you can forward roll from the ground and then you can roll back and so on and so forth. But that is one of my favorite ways to train that back roll there. Now, we didn't have enough time for me to do everything I wanted to do in my training routine, big sad, but I was able to do a little bit of steps, okay? Now, this might look a little bit familiar if you're into B-Boy, but it's a very, very bad, like 4 steps, 6 steps. I don't know what kind of step, okay? I just know that I learned this at one point, but essentially, you want to get your hands about center of the ground, and then you're essentially bringing the hips up and in a sort of pattern where you cross the legs over. I cannot even begin to explain how to do this correctly because I am still learning. And you know what? This mat is not big enough. I kept falling off of it, but I still had a bit of fun doing it. So, it gets a heart rate up way more than you think. But doing movements like those is something that I will have to incorporate. I keep saying I will, and I will, and I do. It's just, man, I wish I could just focus on this entirely. And I'm thinking of just making a day completely dedicated to only this. Now, while my goal is about breakdancing and calisthenics, my baseline strength and flexibility does need to improve, hence why I'm doing exercises like these. If you guys remember in a previous video, I actually did do this exercise, except not with as much knee over toe mobility. You can see there's a major improvement there because, I've been doing this here and there, and I can feel that I'm getting deeper into this movement. And essentially what it is, it's like a long lunge where I'm stretching out that back leg as far as possible, right? I'm allowing my knee to go over the toe as far as it's able to, and then I'm coming up out of that lunge. And I'm doing it with weight. So yeah, we are seeing progression, guys. Nothing too heavy, like 20 to 30 pounds. I noticed that 30 pounds did make me a bit more tired than I'd like to admit. A little embarrassed, but I switched between like a 30 and a 20 and tried to focus mostly on the mobility aspect and also keeping my legs stable. Okay, that was hard for me, especially when I got deeper and deeper, to be able to press back up and still be balanced. So yeah, great exercise overall, strengthening my hips, strengthening my ankle, and I love it. I love it. The knee over toes guy has worked some magic here in terms of my own progression with training. I also did want to show you this exercise from the side so you can see how it looks like. I'm taking that step forward, right? There's nothing lazy about it. Big step forward. All right, here we go. Boom, step. Yeah, there you go. Drop and pop. Come on, come up. Oh, no, I gave up. What? What am I doing? Okay, sorry guys. I was so amped for what I was gonna do. Wait, I picked the weights back up. He takes a step and he goes forward. Dang, I ain't a quitter, guys. Now, I know I said I was going to be working a lot more on my splits, which I am, but I'm wondering if doing a weighted side lunge is going to improve my splits more than just doing regular flexibility. So I've been saying, okay, I'm going to do this side lunge for 1 week, see how it feels, increase weight, and then eventually I'm going to keep testing that splits mobility. Now, is there some exercises I'd love to do in the splits? Yes. Yes, there is a deadlift. So I actually like doing a deadlift from the splits position as far as I can get out. I did not do these on this day. It's something I regret not doing, even if I did 1 to 2 sets of it, because I feel like it opens up the hips in that position, which is necessary to get even deeper. But this by no means is a bad movement. I did maybe 3 sets of these, and I had the 30-pound dumbbell, and that weighted stretch really helped. I did find that when I used double dumbbells at the same time, I felt a little awkward with my balance, but I eventually switched to one or even just none, just to feel the balance of the movement. Now, I'm not afraid to regressing a movement or making something easier, just so I can figure out how it's supposed to feel. If any of you have actually done this movement, let me know how you feel about it and what your progression is and how you feel like your mobility has changed, improved, whatever, because I'm still very new to this. This is my second week trying out this movement, but I'm going to keep it up and see what happens in the future. Straight arm push down, a movement I still do, which I still feel weird about. Like, I've mentioned this before, they do not feel that great, but I do my best, okay? I try and open up the chest, okay? Try and pull out a slight stretch, change my hips a little bit further back to perhaps stretch the lats a bit more from the cable, and then I try and break the bar, squeezing my armpits in as I'm pulling it down. Also focused on pushing my hands as far forward as possible to engage the lats as much as I can, right? I think that I'm trying to pull my own body from the ground to try and activate that back. And I do feel it, but it's still weird.